Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to my YouTube. Decided I'd come out into the garden, spend a bit of time away from the laptop, PC, you know, as you do. Just got off the phone this morning. Wow, my apologies. Just got off the phone this morning to a old chefing friend of mine. I'll call him Bob because I don't want to bring any of his details forward. Well, me and Bob were part of my mobile chefing, and anybody who knows about my revert story knows I spent a great deal of time in North Africa. And if you've seen the thumbnail, you know I'm going to talk about Libya. Bob became Muslim before I did. And like me, he was a mobile chef. Like me, we operated inside of Libya's various hotels under the Gaddafi rule. So this story goes on for a bit, so please do bear with me for the entire extent of it. Anyway, Bob's been back because Bob converted to Islam. We're back in 2005, 2004, I think it was. And solely for the reason that he'd fallen in love with a young Libyan woman. Bob would have been about 24 at that point. She would have been 19, 20, I think. Anyway, they left before all the Gaddafi stuff really unfolded, but they still have family in Tripoli. And me and Bob used to work in a semi-famous hotel on Omar Calatari. I'm terrible at the pronunciation. The Omar Calatari is the big market street, if anyone's wondering. Specifically in the capital of Tripoli. Well, he's been back just recently with him, his boys, and his wife. And even though Bob speaks brilliant Arabic, a lot better than anything I've come close, and his wife's Libyan, and she speaks one of the local Bedouin dialects. I don't remember exactly which one. I don't tend to ask. It was sufficient to say that the place was absolute chaos. And we just got reminiscing about how, no matter how fucking horrific Gaddafi was, and boiler point, the man was fucking evil. Okay, I'm not sitting here shielding Gaddafi. A'udhu billah minash shaitanir regime. He was an evil man. He is rotting in the hellfires. Let me be absolutely clear about that. But Libya had running water. Libya had gas. Libya's buses run on time. Libya's hospitals worked. Libya's people were looked after. The terrorists weren't allowed to run around. There wasn't 20 fucking bases belonging to international powers and their interests because of oil in Libya. You didn't have to pass 17 different checkpoints to get to your mother-in-law's house at the edge of Tripoli. It's mad. Absolutely fucking mad. And this is considered normal by my friends who keep going back there. I haven't been back in years. And I probably should. I should go back and I should take a video recording. A'udhu billah minash shaitanir regime. We used to have such times, especially when Bob was chasing, I'll call her Sarah. That's not her name. She's got a very Muslim name. Chasing her skirt. And then she was quite a liberal Muslim back then. And with everything that's happened with her homeland, alhamdulillah, it brought her back to the deen. It made Bob a very strict Khalifa. He calls me his dirty little deviant friend, and I do find that kind of funny. You dirty bravi, you dirty bravi. Good conversations. But honestly, when we talk about Tripoli, it is a point of pain, a point of agonising. We used to travel down Omar Street into the markets, the shops. I would stop to eat at any of the shoe side vendors because I actually thought the food was really fucking good. I was really surprised at how good the Tripoli food vendors were on the streets. People underestimate them. I don't know if I would recommend them today, but under Gaddafi, the streets were clean. The roads were swept. The place was peaceful. Yes, he's a tyrant. Don't ever miss the point that he is an overwhelming military police state tyrant and a dictator, but people go about their lives. People could see their family. People could go to mosques. People could go swimming, go to gyms, go to university. Tripoli's nothing like that now. And this is a cautionary tale on why we should never support Western interventionism in Iraq and Iran. especially with what's going on with the hijab problems in Iran today, brothers and sisters. And I know many of you may be Kurdists, but there is a correlation. I can see the wounds in the beautiful city of Tripoli. And I miss Tripoli. I miss the Tripoli under Gaddafi, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I miss the city under that tyrant's rule because it was safe, it was secure. People got married, people had their normal lives. Tripoli was a magnificent city, governed by a tyrant, but still preserved. Its people lived a normal life. And it's mad, it's absolutely mad, and I don't know how many of my Libyan friends managed to handle this shit. Seeing the state of and the world's forgotten about Libya. The fucking world has forgotten about it, except the 20 military fucking bases that are on Libya right now. 20 foreign internationals. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, fucking Russia, America, France. Yeah? I don't even know if I don't know if the British have got one. I wouldn't be fucking surprised. 20 different bases inside the country, all plundering Libya's wealth, her oil, her money. That belongs to her people. Thieving international fucking corporations using armed gangs to run the Libyan peoples. And so, my Muslim brothers and sisters, why have I come to tell you a little bit about my chefing backstory, about who I am, where I come from, and the times I've spent in North Africa? It's because I want to raise a cautionary tale for you. Look at the state, do some research. Don't just take my fucking word for it. Do some research on the state of Tripoli and Libya today, right now. And then take a look at Iran. How bad shit is in Iran. Remember, when you Muslims call for interventionism, this is what happens. Libya is what happens. Libya was a tyrannical country. I'm not in any way, shape or form denying that. But it was a beautiful country. There was corrupt justice, but there was justice. People didn't fear to walk around on the streets. Like, Bob told me when he got the kids and his wife back to his grandmother's house, mother-in-law's house, she wept. She wept like a baby. She grabbed both her grandbabies and hugged them so much. Sarah didn't want to leave her mum there. And then the next day, Grandma had sent Bob out on a shopping list. Like she hadn't left the house in 2 days. Because her sons are dead. Her nephews live in another city. Keep telling her to leave, but she doesn't want to leave their ancestral home. As bad as Libya's capital is, she still considers it their home. And she sent Bob out. And the thing that scared Bob the most was his mother-in-law passed him a pistol and says, I hope you don't have to use it, but you must come back to your family alive. That sent fucking chills. Bob's the most unviolent Western Muslim man I know. And his mother-in-law gave him a pistol just to go do fucking shopping in Libya. That is a profound understanding of the realities we live in. And as I said, Bob and Sarah landed in the UK a couple of days ago. And then, like I said, I had a phone call with him this morning. And it was kind of terrifying when, yes, that there were armed police everywhere in Tripoli when I was there. But the reality is, it was still safer than what it is today. And this is what happens, Western Muslims, when you call for interventionism. This is what happens. This is where we are. This is the mess the West is in. This is not some fucking paradise. Countries are not games of Monopoly that you can just drop when you damn well please it. Lives are shattered. People are harmed. My good friend Bob did the equivalent of nearly a month's shopping for his mother-in-law. Went out 5 times. Spent Western money to make sure her house was stocked. He said to me he'd never been so happy to land back in the UK with all the UK's problems. And that's fragile. So my cautionary message to all my Muslim brothers and sisters, incredibly my liberal Muslim brothers and sisters, don't be so eager to topple Iran. You do not know the fucking rats that will come running out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.